It is my distinct privilege to welcome you to the 2024 Upper School Honors Assembly. It's wonderful to have you all together this morning to share this milestone with our seniors and to honor the efforts and accomplishments of the students here before us. Today we acknowledge through awards a commitment to excellence in student leadership, academic and athletic achievement, artistic endeavors, and citizenship and service to others. Additionally, I'd like to take a minute to give a shout out to a number of our athletic teams who are still busy advancing in their brackets this week. Baseball and girls and boys lacrosse, track and field, and 3 members of our boys tennis team who are advancing to states. So good luck to all of them. To the senior class, you have been ready for some time now. In fact, I've watched you from my office as you outgrew the senior lounge, literally and figuratively, over the last few months. And like clockwork, the day after the final bell, the juniors swept in and took over your seats. So today marks the ceremonial beginning of the end of your role as a student at Columbus Academy. Whether you have been a Viking for 14 years or 4, you have worked hard and we have enjoyed watching you grow up. Countless hours of studying, 105 junior speeches delivered, roughly 600 capstones during your time in upper school completed, and I'm sure more than a few advising snack rotations forgotten, but who's counting? Let's also not forget you are the first class to enjoy having Nelson here, our CA daughter. These are but a few elements of your time in upper school. And just 39 weeks ago, many of you seniors gathered on the baseball field before dawn to commemorate the first day of your senior year by watching the sunrise together. What a lovely way that was for you to come together as a class. As was the senior lock-in, a night you, the oldest students at the school, played all night here on campus. May you not soon forget the rich values and friendships, faculty mentors, directors, coaches, or the skin knees that shaped you who you are today. The journey ahead is full of promise and potential, but it won't be without its challenges. You've learned how to ask for help when you need it, and conversely, when you see where help is needed, we hope you step forward to offer it. You've heard the saying, it takes a village. Seniors, your teachers, and families are excited to celebrate you today and eager to see what the next chapter holds. We will miss you when you're gone. Now, I would like to introduce to you our Cum Laude speaker, someone familiar to you all. If you were not in our class as a student, then you certainly have been witness to her basketball choreography on a grand scale. JoAnne joined Columbus Academy in 1995, where she began teaching PE in addition to being a head JV coach and assistant varsity coach to Columbus Academy's first ever state championship field hockey team. Although she started teaching middle school health and PE, the irony was not lost on her that she would learn to love teaching lower school PE, the one subject she loathed in her own elementary school days. Apparently, she frequently forged her parents' signature even to get out of PE class, as she was a late bloomer athletically, but did go on to eventually let her in 4 different sports in high school. Being able to make PE classes fun for children of all skill level and ability became her passion. She reports the best part of teaching and coaching has always been seeing students go from an I can't to an I'll try mindset. Over her years at Academy, Coach Adams has coached over 60 teams with students from grades 6 through 12, taught 26 third grade classes how to dribble and dance to support CA's basketball teams through the Little Dribblers program, and coached countless field hockey summer camps. As summa cum laude graduate of Ohio University and winner of the Joseph Trepp Top PE Student Award, Ms. Adams played varsity field hockey for the Bobcats and was honored to serve as a team captain. She was also honored to receive the first Wexner Chair in Elementary Education and is currently the chair of the Physical Education Department. Her daughter Charlotte graduated in 2021. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming our Cum Laude speaker to the stage, Ms. JoAnne Adams.
Silverberg asked me to be this year's speaker to the senior class, the word why immediately popped out of my mouth. I quickly followed up with, don't the seniors deserve a good speaker? She confidently said that she thought I would be one, so of course I'm honored to address you today. I'd like to start by admitting something that I instinctively do at any large gathering where people will be speaking. Whether it's a graduation, an award ceremony, or even a wedding, I look at the program to approximate how long I will have to sit and listen. I assign rough time estimates to each speaker and then factor in over and under just to be safe. I don't know if it's my competitive nature, but I find myself getting slightly irritated if they take longer than I estimated. So, to prevent you from having any similar angst, I practiced this speech several times and I feel like I can get it done in 12 minutes. When I think of the class of 2024, I can't help but reminisce about your pre-K through second grade PE days, or think about that Little Dribblers routine to MKTO's classic. I recently found your Little Dribbler performance at OSU on YouTube, and looking back, I probably should have dialed back on some of that choreography. However, your figure eights were on point. I was lucky enough to have had several of you on middle school sports teams, getting to coach you for 2 hours a day, several months, and that helped create long-lasting impressions of your personalities and ability to work as a team. When looking at this senior class, I think I connected with 66 of you through teaching or coaching. I'll admit, I had some worries when some of you were in lower school. Tommy Jackus, in 1B I had concerns. I caught you and a friend going to the dining hall vending machines after school instead of going straight to that dreaded lower school carpool line. This was kind of a big deal, and I was worried you were headed down a path of rebellion and rule breaking. I am so thankful that Mrs. Worsler and I were able to intervene, and we're both relieved that you are not on the straight and narrow path. Kelly Rocky, you also had me perplexed in second grade when you needed to see the nurses so frequently. I thought you had to have some major injury or ailment, or my go-to PE remedies of a cold drink of water or a wet paper towel were not able to help. It turns out you just really loved the nurses and didn't like running on the track, which, fair points on both Kelly. Speaking of the track, one of my favorite memories is of a senior girl who went on to be a 12-season athlete. In first grade PE, she was adamant that she could never walk or run 1 lap around the track, let alone 4. She attempted to prove this theory to me by lying down on the track and refusing to move. Little did she know, I would prove her wrong by heading out to recess and asking her to take a walk with me. We walked and talked, and every time she started to fade, I was able to distract her by talking about our favorite cartoon, Phineas and Ferb, and what our favorite desserts were in the dining hall. And I'm thrilled to report we walked that mile in 15 minutes and 27 seconds that day. Columbus Academy has been a place where you have spent most of your waking hours. Our athletic department likes to use the phrase, grown here, and as I look at many of you, that isn't just a slogan, it's the truth. You came to lower school eager to learn and play with friends. For some of you, those priorities might have been reversed. You really wanted to play with friends, and learning was an added bonus. As your lower school teachers, we helped you negotiate with you as you fought over who would be first in line or the caboose. We sat in assemblies while you pledged allegiance to the flag, and Mrs. Oath served up hot chocolate and s'mores while you and your buddies listened to campfire stories. You delighted us by singing Light of the Night at the winter program and Pizza Love in the summer. Your special friends came to school in May, and you ended each year with a huge carnival. Really, every grade had fond memories, like playing with your senior buddies in kindergarten or packing your suitcase to go on a trip to China. Going west on the Oregon Trail, complete with square dancing and PE in first grade. As second graders, you knocked out math in a minute and ate what the Native Americans would have on Native American Day. In third grade, we heard you rocking out to hot cross buns on your recorders and witnessed you transform yourself into a historical person for the Wax Museum. You had your first big overnight field trip to Glen Helen in fourth grade, along with your stage musical debut of Magic Treehouse, Nights at Dawn. You were the first class to graduate lower school as a fifth grader, and you also bore witness to the inaugural Shakespeare Day. Middle school came and you leveled up to advisors and changed classrooms every period. Mrs. Eads taught you the thriller dance, while Mr. Carter helped you prepare for a naval battle. And at recess, playing Gaga was the thing to do. Rumor has it, Noah Houston was unbeatable back in the day. You showed your entrepreneurial spirit at the business fair, selling goods such as slime, stress balls, and fidget spinners. You took care of water balloon babies in Carol and Calati. You loved that experience so much that you created a water balloon baby book that still makes Mrs. Castle smile. You dressed up and mingled with students from CSG and Wellington and FNA, and no one can forget Mitch Rogers busting a move with his serious breakdancing skills. In 7th grade, you started to play on official Columbus Academy sports teams. You headed to Houston Woods to bond as a class and had tea time with Mr. Henry. As 8th graders, you took a bus ride to DC, where word on the street is Charter Bus A was way cooler than Charter Bus B, and kids waited in line to get a precious spot for ski club so you could hit the slopes. Spring break threw us all for a loop when the world went into quarantine. You have an online cohort trial and a virtual Jack White track meet. I think Megan Smith still owes her mile time to Coach Rakosik. So Megan, let me know if you'd like to knock that out today. You had a drive-by graduation ceremony and then met afterwards at Academy Park for awkward 6 feet apart, socially distanced graduation pictures. So hey, good news. This year, you get to stand next to your friends and not worry if you're at a super spreader event. You started off high school wearing masks, which, based on some of my own high school photos, might not have been a bad option for me. You went from a mixture of online classes where many students were caught taking naps on Zoom or forgetting the dreaded faux pas of forgetting to mute your microphone. In sophomore year, things finally started to return to normal. You could go to athletic events, participate in the fall play at the dining hall, or the spring musical Mamma Mia. You had the option to go to all 3 major dances and experience your first Arts Mania day. As a junior, you got to explore the art scene in Chicago, as well as go through one of CA's greatest rites of passage, performing your junior speech. They were all amazing, but Zaina Alberini, Lance Hume, and Sophia Lott won awards for theirs. Senior year began with the sunrise. You gathered on the baseball field to watch the day begin before heading downtown for a scavenger hunt. Leaving for senior lunches and enjoying parking lot privileges were just a few of the perks. Mid-year, you had the senior lock-in, and I want to say more about the lock-in, but evidently what happens at that lock-in stays at the lock-in, so we don't ruin the surprise for the rest of the high school. By recounting all of this, I wanted to remind you of how many new experiences you've had. They all had an impact, some good, some bad, but they created who you are right now. Yes, your high school time, it's come to an end, but you are just beginning. You get to start a whole new chapter of new experiences. Going to college is awesome and terrifying. I went to a similar small school like CA. I was a lifer, so the only time I was the new kid was in kindergarten, where my bigger stressors were, would I get to play on the tire swing, how was my class turtle faring each day, and if my kindergarten teacher would let me sit next to my best friend, Ronnie Cesano. I went from being in a place where I knew everyone, the teachers, cleaners, coaches, and students, to a place where I knew no one. When I decided I was going to Ohio University, I was thrilled. But as the time my parents had to drop me off, that excitement had faded. My dad still teases me to this day about the morning we had to check in at OU. I held on to that headboard at the OU Inn crying because I did not want to leave. This is embarrassing for several reasons. One of them being that the headboard was attached to the wall, so I had this incredibly awkward grip going on. Obviously, my parents convinced me to let go. They told me I could do this, and as predicted, they were right. I was lucky to have played field hockey. It started about a month before classes, and I met my teammates and had a built-in group of friends. Now, I know that 104 of you will not be playing on your college's field hockey team, but the team for me could be a club for you. You will find groups. Join them, it helps. As a teacher and coach, I'm frequently coming up with plans to help my students achieve their goals. Here's my plan for you in terms of campus life. Number 1, learn how to do your laundry. Have your family walk you through it, explaining temperatures, color sorting, how much detergent you need, and the magic of dryer sheets. Don't wait until Sunday afternoon to do your laundry because every freshman waits until Sunday afternoon. Be rebellious, pick a weekday. Make as many friends as possible. You can never have too many friends. Try to avoid being in that small group that only hangs out with each other. 3. Stay at college on weekends to socialize. Going home is tempting, but staying and finding fun things to do around campus that have nothing to do with schoolwork will make college life much better. Number 4, compromise and communicate with your roommate. Living with someone you don't know is bizarre. It can be amazingly good and incredibly hard. Learn how to talk through problems. You'll thank yourself in the end. And number 5, take as many pictures as you can. You'll want to capture your time at school so you can look back at friends, moments, and milestones. Here are 5 things to do academically. I know, PE teacher giving academic advice, but bear with me. Don't go out too hard. Remember in first grade when we would head to the track for a 400? You would take off like a bullet, and like 150 meters in, you were spent and you could not finish. College is the same way. You don't need to overload your schedule the first semester. Get used to the rhythm of school. Start with a higher GPA because it's so much easier to start strong and have an off class or 2 than to start low and be digging yourself out of a hole. Number 2, read your syllabus. Your professors spell it out for you. Take a look at how homework, tests, and quizzes are weighted so there are no surprises. Number 3, please, don't raise your hand in class to answer every question. We get it, you know the answer. But if you listen more than you talk, you will learn more that way. Number 4, don't reply all on an email. There's never a good enough reason to do so. Trust me, this applies to students and faculty. Oh wait, Mr. Thompson, didn't Perry learn that this year? Number 5, try to connect with your teachers. We are human. We actually enjoy it when you interact with us. We get to know you and we have a vested interest in your success. So make those connections, especially at the college level. You never know when it will turn into an internship, a job, or a lifelong mentor. Finally, seniors, one last thought. Approach college like a game of golden nuggets. You can stay on your own side in hopes of staying safe, or you can take a risk and go for that gold. You can let getting tagged ruin your day, or you can chill out and let a friend come and help you. Like Taggart's rule, you need to trust those around you, because it's always better when you assume the best in everyone. In the end, it's all a game. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but I hope you'll be happy you played. Congratulations, seniors. I wish you the best of luck, and I believe that you can do this. Thank you.